It's clear it's not going to help deliver any of those benefits. It's clear all it does is increase the odour on Israel, therefore embolden Hamas. So if anything, it can only lengthen the war, lengthen conflict rather than push towards a ceasefire. And to my point, this is not serious diplomacy. This is sloganeering and trying to demonise Israel rather than supporting real efforts to try and develop peace there, such as Israel and the US are doing now in trying to provide alternative aid supplies to deliver aid independently of Hamas.
Indeed, as I said, it was a dramatic move. I spent most of today, Chris, with school children on the peninsula. I was at Hastings Primary and I was at Somerville Secondary School talking about democracy and encouraging kids to think about democracy, to think about Canberra, to think about the decisions we make and to engage in public discourse and to watch the news. I'm sort of quietly hoping that today they don't follow my advice and they don't watch the news tonight because they would be quite confused about what action we have taken today and whether it is in not just Australia's best interest, but in step with trying to get a peaceful solution in the Middle East.
But this is, you mentioned the word democracy, that's the key here, right? These types of sanctions to try and target individuals through travel bans and financial sanctions, they're developed to try and get rogue leaders and rogue despots in rogue nations, effect, where they're operating outside the rule of law and democracy. That's why they're put in place, and we've used them against countries like Iran. To use them against democratically elected politicians operating under the rule of law in a liberal democracy surely cheapens and brings the whole system into question.
And their allies as well. So Israel is an ally of Australia. It is important that we all do everything we can to support the release of the hostages, to the disablement of the terrorist organisation that is Hamas, towards a permanent ceasefire and ultimately peace in the Middle East. Today's actions do not seem to be well placed towards that outcome.
All right, let's talk about another ally that's in very difficult times at the moment. That's the United States, of course, with these horrible riots in Los Angeles, which have started to spread to other parts of the country, Chicago and New York among them. But a former colleague of yours, former Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull, has bought into this. Have a look at what he's had to say.
The concern is that this is essentially a provocation. So it's, these are dangerous times in America. If there are many people in America now, serious people, experienced people who are concerned that America is slipping into a sort of a realm of authoritarianism, almost of tyranny. And that should be very concerning for us. So let's hope that common sense and the rule of law prevail.
Malcolm Turnbull, the authoritarianism and tyranny. Does this help Anthony Albanese repair relations with the Donald Trump administration?
The Donald Trump administration is the democratically elected government of the United States. The Prime Minister has to do what is in our nation's interest, which is to forge a very strong relationship with that administration. We rely on the United States in relation to defence. They are a significant investor in this country and they are a very important trade partner of this country. So indeed, he must set aside all the helpful or unhelpful advice he's getting from former Prime Ministers and seek to establish the best, strongest relationship he can. We absolutely need it. My electorate needs it. I have BlueScope in my electorate. So those tariffs directly affect the well-being of the people of Flinders, and he needs to do whatever he can to get them removed, including establishing a face-to-face rapport with the President of the United States.
We'll see how he goes on that one in Canada later this week. Thanks for joining us, Zoe. I appreciate it. Zoe McKenzie there, live from the electorate of Flinders, the wonderful Mornington Peninsula in Victoria.